scars. What I want you to want, what I want you to feel. But it's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you to just believe this is real. So let go, I'm watching you turn your back like you always do. Face away and pretend that I'm not, but I'll be here cause you're all that I got. I can't feel the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. Time won't change this damage anymore. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. I'm a little bit insecure, a little unconfident, cause you don't understand. I do what I can, but sometimes I don't make sense. I am what you never want to say, but I've never had a doubt. It's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you for once just to hear me out. So let go, watching you turn your back like you always do. Face away and pretend that I'm not, but I'll be here cause you're all that I got. I can't feel the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. Time won't change this damage anymore. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. No, hear me out now. You're gonna listen to me like it or not. Right now, hear me out now. You're gonna listen to me like it or not. Right now. I can't feel the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. I can't feel the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. Time won't change this damage anymore. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. I can't feel. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. Time won't change. Don't turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. I always hate when you running around. I wanna say, bitch, I want every time. I want you hate until you butter the crack. Then what you hate until you butter the crack. I always hate when you running around. I wanna say, bitch, I want every time. I want you hate until you butter the crack. Then what you hate until you butter the crack. I always hate when you running around. I wanna say, bitch, I want every time. I want you hate until you butter the crack. Then what you hate until you butter the crack. I always hate when you running around. I wanna say, bitch, I want every time. I want you hate until you butter the crack. Then what you hate until you butter the crack. You're acting like a psychopath, my dear. One day you know it's wrong, the next is clear. But it's getting really hard to hear that bullshit. Take on the money, all in my ear. You're just another wrong and worthless hack. One day you know it's wrong, the next is back. If you wanna see a day, look how stab me. Then you better pull the knife out of my back. When you running around, I wanna say, bitch, I want every time. I want you hate until you butter the crack. Then what you hate until you butter the crack. I always hate when you running around. I wanna say, bitch, I want every time. I want you hate until you butter the crack. Then what you hate until you butter the crack. Be careful, hon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Grid Titan Racing League. We got a fantastic race here for you guys today. We have the GTES Championship, our endurance racing series, Season 2, Race 1 in Europe at Sardinia, Road Track A. And today, we are running European and Asian cars. No American cars allowed today's race. No. No European cars allowed. Qualification starting at the top of the hour. We got some big names here. We got Simi, number 2 Ferrari driver in North America at one point. Diesel Dave, the Grid Titan Sprint Series champion from last season. As well as we got some VPR folks. We got some guys from all over the country in here. Black Mamba, JDM Snob, Grid Titan competitors. Been here for a while. Shams Design 114. You can see him by Shams ZZ. Fantastic livery editor. We got a lot of good guys on the grid today. A lot of good guys. Let's take a gander and look at these practice laps. Qualification will kick off at top of the hour. I'm going to give you some information about today's race. We're going to kick off with a rolling start. Weather set to random. As you can see, we've got some little bit of fog out on the track. It's going to keep the track nice and cold. Sardinia is a track full of a lot of corners where you can lose a lot of time. And with the cold weather, with the sun not shining, the track's going to stay cold. And with the new physics update with how cars handle dirty air, we're not quite sure how a lot of these drivers are going to be able to handle the new kind of track conditions. 34 seconds best in practice. Mass putting together a really hot lap right now. Bigham's on pole in the practice so far. Everyone's taking some time. It's going to be a 6-minute race. There's going to be a lot going on. Just like that, it's time for the race to start. Let's get qualification started, everybody. Half tanks for everyone here on the course. We like to keep cars nice and light. We want to force everybody to really try their hand at we really want to try everyone's hand when it comes to pitting, when it comes to strategy. That's why when we run these endurance races and sprint races, we start everyone at a half tank of fuel. You're not going to have a lot of racing before you get into your first pit stop. Let's take a look at how everyone's going to fare in this qualification today. Let's set the camera to our local Canadian, Piggums, the last season's Grid Tight Endurance Series champion. Last season there was only 3 races in the GTES. Now there are 5 spanning all across Europe. We got track like the Nürburgring, Brands Hatch. We got a lot of wonderful tracks on schedule. Bigham's putting together quite a fast lap, 50 seconds in on the out lap. Qualifiers go for about 15 minutes. Take it down to first, 50 miles an hour around that sharp corner. This section Pickens is coming up to is a very tricky section because a third to last corner of this track, you can carry a lot of speed through, but you can really mess it up real good. It'll smack against the wall. Let's see how he handles it. Really feathering through it, really trying to stretch those racing softs out. Tricky part about the outlap is you can really cook the tires to the point where you're going to be losing time on your first and second qualification lap. So you really have to manage how you spend the outlap. You want to warm up the tires, but you don't want to get them dirty. You don't want to wear them down too much. You want to make sure you keep enough space away from everybody else during qualification in order to ensure that you don't foul those tires up. Oh, Pickham's going deep into turn 1. Seems like he's still getting his bearings on this track. Let's take a look at Massett behind him. Todd Holland. Getting a little squirrely around that exit. very tricky hairpin going down to the main straight. The Porsche 911, a mid-engine car, really likes to let itself go in second gear. It's something that a lot of people have to pay attention about when driving that car. But if you get it right, it'll really suck you into those corners. Decent acceleration on the car, not the fastest on the grid when it comes to straight line speed, but it really, there's a reason why the Porsche 911 GT3 car remains a top choice. We got a little bit of contact in qualifier. Seems like VPR Todd Hollow was spun off track a little bit. Car got behind him, came out from under him. Let's see if he gives space. He does give space. Great track etiquette from Todd Hollow, letting Teetable come on through. This is our current qualification leader, Diesel Dave Darth Renan, dropping a 140.192. And he's just getting faster, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out Dave for making a Grid Titan themed Genesis car for the race. Really gets in close on that little hairpin. Going into the switchbacks. See if Todd Hall can keep Dave from slowing down. He's not going to be able to carry on through with it. Just got a little too close. Still plenty of time left in qualifier, though. Now, I'm shocked that Semi is not in the Ferrari, with him being the #2 Ferrari driver in the U.S. a couple of years back. Semi actually opted for Lamborghini. There's a little opposition there. Lamborghini is a fantastic car. It's an all-wheel drive monster around those tracks. The thing that you have to look out for is that the tire wear on Lamborghinis is quite accelerated due to how it slides through corners a little bit. So that's something that Semi is going to have to manage during his race today. 60 minutes, you have all three tires you have to utilize. That car is surely to chew up through those racing softs and mediums quite quicker than the rest of the competition. You might have to do some balancing work to keep that car under control. Really easy car to slide around. Not slide as in, you're letting it go. You can't have the car slide around like you could power slide through those corners thanks to that all-wheel drive. Let's look at the bottom of the grid and see how everyone else is doing. JDM Snob in last place, failing to put together a decent qualification lap so far. This seems to be his first run. Wrap that corner really nicely. You really want to stay above 115 miles an hour around that corner. If you can manage it, if you can slide that car through that third to last corner at above 150 miles an hour, you're going to maintain very, very good pace. It's really easy to smash those brakes early before jumping into that third to last corner. It is a very tricky corner. Even this corner on the straight, if you don't get that driving line right, you can find yourself in the grass really, really quick. And some people might think you can, recover from going to a grassing race, but if you're on softs or mediums, really, really sticky tires, and you touch grass or dirt during this race, you're going to be pitting exponentially earlier than you normally would have. There's foul tires get gunked up really, really quick, and they really do affect your lap times. Simi taking first place on the leaderboard for qualification time, dropping a 1 minute 40-second 0.40. Fantastic pace from Simi so far. Diesel Dave not too far off. Let's see if these guys can exchange qualification times back and forth a little bit. Bigham's dropping a 140.235. Fantastic time from Bigham's. An extra point goes out to the gentleman who takes first in this qualification. Extra point for first in the qualification and first if you have the fastest lap during a race if you are top 10. 2 extra points that can be given out this season every single race. 2 extra points you can earn. There you go. Had a little bit of audio issues. Go ahead and fix that. Hope that's better. My apologies. See if Simi can break that fastest lap of his. And he does. He smokes it, a 139.863. Incredibly quick time. Incredibly quick time. Beating his time out by over 0.02 of a second. Incredibly fast. Alec in second place with a 140.143. Taking a faster lap time than Dave. Dave seems to be struggling to put together his lap time. To break back into the 141s, he exited out the lobby and took the car back to garage for a little bit. So got rid of his prior stats, but it'll pop up once qualification's over. Pigham's the prior champion of the GTES series, dropping a 140.235, finding himself in 5th place, which top 5 is a very good. Oh, he jumped up to 2nd place, 140 flat nearly, only 0.18 of a second off, if that's how you say it. 2nd place is a very solid position for Pigham's, because where Pigham's is, Pigham's may not be the fastest driver on the grid, but he certainly is a fantastic strategist. There's a lot of time in that Lexus, a lot of time. He might be able to catch Simi during the race purely off of his strategy. Last season, he pulled off a phenomenal feat in race 2 at Watkins Glen, Michelin Road, Atlanta. Started in 13th, and over the course of a 60-minute race, he found himself in first, all off of strategy. He jumped into Supra. Supra is an incredibly fuel-efficient car that I'm shocked that I don't believe anyone this race is running this time around. But but the Supra is a very fuel-efficient car, handles tires really, really well, doesn't chew them up too much, doesn't eat into them. And Pickham's found himself from 13th place start, no qualification times, all the way in the first. Overtook the entire grid. Impressive stuff. Very impressive stuff. 1 minute left in qualification. See if Pickham's can break Simi's time. He's only 0.036 seconds off of that incredibly quick 139 Simi dropped. Oh, he's on pace. Dropped down 100th of a second during that lap. Pickham's is on pace. He goes a little wide. Can he keep together? Let's see how that fares him. This will be his final lap. It's either make or break. He's losing a lot of time sliding that corner. Wrapping the final straight. Let's see if Pickham's can keep it together. 37, 138. He will not. That is a second place finish in qualifications for Pickham's. Very impressive stuff. Diesel Dave gets back up to third. Fights his spot position back from Alec, but loses it to Pickham's. Originally the second place. JD Snob from last to sixth. Very good stuff. Teetable, seventh. Fantastic racing. Fantastic racing. Let's go ahead and take a look at this leaderboard. First place, extra point for qualification. Simi in the Hurricane GT3 drops a 139.805. Best lap, 130 seconds away. Emassid drops a 139.933. Third place, you have Piggums with a 140.018. Dave, aka Darth Rennan, in fourth with a 140.054. And then the closest is Alec in fifth place and is 911 with a 140.143. Fantastic stuff for the top five there. The back grid is not too far off. The slowest time we have is a 145 from Gabriel. It's going to be a very tough race for him if he keeps that pace up. You know, you're going to want to stay at least a second and a half with these drivers. They're so consistent. A lot can happen over 60 minutes. Just reminding the drivers to remember the Grid Titan Racing League driver etiquette. And I'm just going to go ahead and read it off to you guys. Here in Grid Time Racing League, all drivers are going to have to be required to keep their radar on at all times. And then when honoring a blue flag, the slower driver does indeed yield a position to the faster driver, but only on the straights. If the drivers are side by side through the corners, it's up to the fast driver to go around the slower driver. The slower driver has to stick to the racing line. If they spin out any time on track re-entry is a pretty big deal. They must sit there and hold their brakes until all cars have passed before they re-enter the track. If they spin out and they end up in the middle of the track, same thing. They'll have to stay on the brakes and sit there until all cars are passed and it's safe to re-enter. Damage in Grid Time Racing League is heavy. If you get damaged, you stay damaged until you go to the pit and repair it. It's something that can really, really, really ruin a race, but that is part of racing. You can be the best driver in the world. And unfortunately, you just find yourself in a squirrely situation that you just cannot react to in time. It happens. Additional tips that are always reminded to our drivers. Flashing headlights as a general means that a driver is attempting to overtake. Blinkers are a wonderful way to indicate that you are yielding a racing line. Remember to have fun. It's a race. And enjoy it. Fantastic stuff here in Grid Titan Racing League. Fantastic stuff. Racing is a very fluid and dynamic sport. It's often easy to get caught in the moment and not know what to do, make mistakes, or accidentally cause problems for another driver on track. That's why we have our racing etiquette here in Grid Time Racing League. Race kicks off in 1 minute. Hope you guys are around to watch it. It's going to be a fun one. It's really, really going to be a fun one. While we're waiting, let's talk about this race and this track. Sardinia Road track, layout A is a 3.18 mile track, and we are only racing Group 3 Asian Pacific and European cars today for 60 minutes. 60 minutes of high-speed, high-intensity races. Next track will be Autodromo Lago Maggiore, full course, 3.61 miles. And we'll have 24 hours to Le Mans, we'll have Monza, and we'll have Nürburgring this season. Weather is set to random. Anything can happen for these drivers. Tire wear rate set to 4x. Fuel consumption rate set to 3x, and they're starting on a half tank, so expect a lot of strategy early on. All the tires are mandatory. And with that, let's get the racing. GTES Championship Season 2 Race 1 Europe is about to be underway, ladies and gentlemen. Simi leading off the front. Incredible stuff. Incredible, incredible stuff. All the cars in the main straight, about to cross the finish line. Let's go racing. Simi leading the pack. Massett right behind him. Pickham's in third. Massett warming up those tires before entering turn 1. Very, very tight stuff. Pickham's on the inside. Can't quite find it. Simi is already pulling away. These drivers are going to have to work together if they really, 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 really want to keep the pace with Simi. He has clean air in front of him, nothing but dreams. Pigham's trying to make up time. Massett behind. The battle between 5th and 3rd is really intense right now. Simi slowly pulling away. Pigham's making space for himself. Gap of 600th of a second between 2nd and 3rd place. Massett wrapping the corner quite quickly, trying to make up lost time. Diesel Dave holding it together. The first lap of a race is the most dangerous lap of a race. That's the tightest you're ever going to be. We got contact in the back. A fight between Rafa, Black Mamba, and Gabriel. Break and play. Gabriel goes wide. Hopefully, his internet connection isn't going to be stirring too much trouble with the rest of the pack. We'll have to keep an eye on this driver just in case. If he's lagging around too much, we'll have to, unfortunately, remove him from the event. There's Rafa's inside Teeble. Teeble trying to make up space. We got a wreck. Black Mamba spins out. Sholmes gets taken out early. Teeble opts to go into the pits early. Get onto some racing hards, it seems. Let's go back up to 5th. Very tricky stuff going on here. JDM Snob in the middle of the race, middle pack. Let's go back up to the fight. Simi, 1.3 seconds off. Clean air, clean tires. Piggums also has a gap of his own. The race between 1st and 2nd seems to be there. Piggums can get closer. Massett, quite a ways away. Has a lot of time to make up. Nearly 2 seconds worth of driving. But the battle between 4th, 5th, even, 5th, 4th, and 3rd is still there. Alec opted for racing hards at the start of the race, while Diesel Dave opted for racing softs. Dave is really putting the pressure on Massett. You know, when you start a race that this long on racing softs, it is one of the mandatory tire types. You're really, really going to be fighting to make up as much ground as possible. You don't want to lose any time. You're going to be using those tires to their fullest potential because it's probably the only time that race. What a smart strategy from Diesel Dave, using the long straight on Sardinia to bump draft his way up in the time. That's going to surely help both drivers. It just depends if Mass can keep together. These drivers have to work together in order to catch up to Simi and Piggums. You cannot do that by yourself. The air is too clean up there. The track is too cold. The tires are too fresh. It's just, you need to work together, and that's exactly what these two drivers seem to be doing. Massa is pulling away a little bit. Dave really has to keep things tight, but the tighter you race, the more risk you incur. Something to always look out for. Dave pushing a very fast sector right now. Alex slowly but surely falling behind back in 5th. Has nobody to work with, no support. Same as Snob, same as Gabriel. Rafa, if Rafa's smart, he'll catch up to Gabriel and really try to work together. Don't know if their internet connection will let them though, really don't. Gabriel goes wide. Very scary stuff. Very scary stuff at the beginning of the race. I've already had one wreck. Let's check on the guys in the back right now. Sholmes in last place are now 12th position after contact. Very beautiful car of his. Did a fantastic job creating this livery. One of the best livery designers we have in the Grid Titan Racing League. Very proud of his work that he's done. Teeble in 11th place. He already took one of his mandatory pits, which it could be good, could be bad for him. Has a lot of time to make up, though. Black Mamba getting a little squirrely. Still fighting with this damage. He's going to opt to keep driving with the damaged front right wheel and fender from a contact earlier in the race. Gets a little squirrely on the straight. It's really hard to keep the NSX glued down when you have the car fighting against it, itself. You're on racing hards. You have a lack of grip. You have front damage. You have a lack of downforce. And you have a bit of understeer thanks to that front wheel damage. It's just really hard to keep the car together. He will lose time, but will it be enough time to matter in the long run is his decision, the smart decision to make. As long as you stay within the top 10 at the end of the race, he will put points up on the board. 12 drivers today. 2 drivers will go without scoring a single point. We'll find out who those drivers will be shortly. Well, not shortly. It's only 6 minutes into a 6-minute race, so. We got a 3-way fight between Gabriel, Todd, and Rafa. Very tricky thing to battle going on here. Gabriel goes by Carlo in Discord, a Italian driver who is quite quick. It's just you have a ping difference, and I really wonder how it's going to affect this bout. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of caution, a lot of seconds lost, just trying to avoid contact getting around this driver. Rafa gets a little squirrely around the back end. Todd Holland, Gabriel pulling away from Rafa. Todd goes wide. Now he's going to have dirty tires for the rest of this little stint. His front damage, he'll have to repair 30 tires. Once his mediums are done, he'll have to get some fuel. He probably has a handful of laps in him left still, but yeah, he's just going a little too wide. Gabriel keeping together, keeping the sharks away as long as he can, but he will have to pit before the others. JDM Snob's on hard still, looking very good. No damage on the vehicle. Tires fairly clean. He's just in his own world right now. Has no teammates to work with, has no opposition. The hardest part about endurance racing when you're in the position of Snob is ensuring that you keep your pace and continue to gain. You are fighting yourself right now. You have no one to reference. You are running off muscle memory. And one mistake, sending it a little too hard, can really, really jeopardize your chances. JDM Snob, a mid-pack driver in Season 1 of Grid Titan Racing League in both the Sprint Series and the Endurance Series. You often saw the driver in 5th place. 5th place, 4th place, 6th place, and it's glad to see that he's keeping true form. Hopefully throughout this race today and throughout the season, we can see some major progression. We would love to see some major progression. Snob seems to be on his hot lap right now. 142.6 last lap. 142.404. Fastest lap yet. Lap 5. Still turn those tires. The car is just getting faster and faster the more fuel he utilizes. Let's push up the grid. Diesel Dave lost his support because he overtook it. If you remember back earlier in the race, Dave and Massett were working together to build time. I guess Massett was moving a little too slow for Dave. Dave said, nope, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get in front of you. You know, you can't be slowing me down. We're going to use that. I'm going to keep that same racing energy and go ahead and overtake you now. We'll send flowers to your funeral, Dave says. Racing Softs almost halfway utilized up, and after this lap, Dave surely is going to have to pit to refuel. Piggums really, really caught up to Semi, really bringing the pressure on. Racing Softs only halfway utilized, but he is managing his fuel quite well. Just halfway between a quarter tank and empty. A lot more fuel than Semi does. Both of them are on the same tire compound. Semi's rear tires are a little bit more worn out than Piggum's. Both drive. Oh, look at that. Semi opts to stay on track. That's a wild decision to make. Hope it doesn't bite him. He might not have fuel to make it. Piggums goes into the pits, opts for tires, along with Diesel Dave, and opts for refuel. Dave only had 4 of his 100 unit fuel tank left. Really, really, really utilized it. Snob jumps into the pits as well. Let's take a gander at our drivers. Piggums jumps out of the pits on racing hards, but forgot the fuel. That is devastating. That is absolutely devastating. Oh, what a mistake to make. That is terrible. Terrible, terrible decision. Diesel Dave saw some racing softs, the racing mediums, fuel tank of gas, ready to get after it. Snob taking a little extra in his pit. Wonder why. Little slow getting out there. Teetable coming in hot. Teetable smells blood. He wants it. Remember, Teetable opted to pit early, and that strategy is now paying off as he jumps from 11th place all the way up to 8th, just off of pit stops, and now is in contentions with Snob. Well, this is fantastic for Teetable, as having someone to work with throughout the race is going to allow him to get faster and faster. Teetable is no slouch of a driver, coming in 3rd place in the Sprint Series last season, only 1 point away from 2nd and 1st. Or sorry, 2 points away from 2nd and 1st. Incredible driver. Both these GTRL amateur drivers are looking to obtain pro this season, and they have the work cut out for them if they want to do so. Simi jumps into the pit. Massett will take over. Simi really took a risk on losing time, but he seems like he manages fuel just right. He jumps in the pit on 1 unit left. Alec behind him. Piggums, after the terrible mistake that he made, jumping in to the pits yet again. Going to be a very, very damaging thing for his time, though. He hasn't even gotten to the pit crew yet. He's finally there. Simi's already out of the pits. That's a 26-second lead on Piggums. Oh, what a terrible thing for Piggums. He really has his work cut out for him this race, all due to probably a misclick. The unfortunate thing with Gran Turismo is once you say you don't want fuel, you're not going to get it. There's no backing out of it. Really poor quality life decision by PD. Really unfortunate mistake for Piggums. Piggums finds himself in 7th, from 2nd to 7th, with nothing but time to make up. Let's jump up the grid. 6th place, Teetable gained a position after Gabriel was forced to pit. Still trying to find that time between him and Snob. Alec finds himself in 4th. Quarter tank fuel use. He did not fill up all the way. Finds himself on Racing Softs. You know, you're not going to get a full tank out of Racing Softs, so, you know, it probably not a bad decision to cut the pit stop short. Only take the fuel that you need instead of filling up all the way and getting the most out of those Racing Softs, because less fuel means less weight. Less weight equals more speed you can carry through that car. Less that car has to work, and if you have less weight, your tires last even longer. A lot of little intricate decisions being made here today. Massett in the pits, used all of his fuel, goes from hards to racing mediums. Simi going to be coming right past him. Simi on the straight. Unfortunately, there's no one to contend with Simi right now. He has a 5-second lead amongst the pack. Dave behind him trying to make up that time. Dave is a very, very experienced driver. Can be unlucky at times. Last season he had an engine failure that forced him to disconnect out of the 60-minute race with 58 minutes on the clock. Only a minute and a half left in the race, and yeah, he got disconnected after working all the way up to 3rd. He is a very accomplished driver. Again, the Sprint Series champion, a very, very good driver, very fast, consistent, the old man of the track. Dave is someone who can really, really keep you on your toes. Alec, a newcomer to Grid Time Racing League, along with Simi, Massett, Todd Holla, Gabriel Raza. A lot of new drivers this season. Really excited to see what they bring to the table. Alec is a driver who, remember, opted to get out of the pits early. Let's go to the back of the grid, check in on how everyone's doing. Sean still in 12th place, jumped on racing mediums, almost 3/4 of a tank of fuel left. Still has quite a bit of time to make up due to the unfortunate wreck. Anything can happen in an endurance race. All you need are points on the board. Black Mamba, 11th place, having trouble with Gabriel. Really, really trying to get past him. It's really difficult when someone's lagging out a little bit. Both drivers giving each other plenty of space. That's the kindest thing that they can do for one another. Black Mamba gets the overtake done, and now is focusing on creating more and more space. Shuts the door on Gabriel. Gabriel gets a little squirrely in that out of that turn. Gabriel seems to be having a lot of issues with this track. Rafa in his own world right now, trying to find Todd. Todd in his own planet right now, 15 seconds behind Teetable. It's a lot of space. Some exciting stuff that's been happening. Teetable is now trying to find his way past Piggums. Piggums, who was in second place earlier in the race, dropped him all the way down to 7th place, secured 6th out of Teetable, and Teetable is trying to make up lost ground. But can he? Piggums has tires with more life in them. Piggums has more fuel. Teetable simply just can't outlast Piggums how it is. Remember, Teetable took an early pit. It is quite a possibility that he's not managing his fuel to the level that he needs in order to keep up in terms of duration on track, because he simply needs the speed. If you can't set your fuel map all the way to 5 or 6 and keep up with drivers like Pick'em, Snob, Semi, Diesel Dave, Alec, you just can't do it. You have to maintain pace. Your endurance racing is all about your game plan going in, your fuel management, your tire wear, your decision making. All it takes is one decision to lose a race. It takes one decision to win a race. Teetable has to find that happy ground between conserving fuel and delivering power. He's trying to make that WRX sing. Piggum's 2 seconds off of Snob. Snob is really opening up his car, getting faster and faster consistently. Lap 2, he was a 142.811. And then lap 4, a 142.6. Lap 5, a 142.4. Lap 8, a 142.3. Lap 10, a 142.313. He is just getting faster. He's really finding himself right now. Look how he's handling these corners. He's really trying to push the car to its max limits. Brakes at the 50, second gear, really feathering it out. Wow, his acceleration on the outside of the corner and how he just has the car locked in place is fantastic. Fantastic driving from Snob so far. That's the consistency he needs to break past the top 5 position and get into podium and get into those top 3 positions. Brakes at the 50, brakes down to 47 miles an hour, gets on the gas as quick as he can. Very tricky section coming up for Snob. He's on pace. He's on pace. Brakes down to 106, goes a little slow through that corner. He could have carried more speed, but it's a dangerous game on racing mediums. You know, you're managing tire wear, it's a sliding corner. Very dangerous stuff, but we'll see what this lap yields for him. Maintains good speed. He has a 142.3 to beat. 142.2, getting faster every single lap. Fantastic stuff from JDM Snob. Massett, 4th by himself. Fastest lap was a 141.187 at the beginning of the race on lap 5. We are now on lap 12, and it seems he has struggled finding pace. He is getting slower and slower. It's those racing hards. It's really difficult to put together a 141, 142 on racing hards. You know, but low 143s is where he should be aiming for. Lap 11, he was able to get it done. Good stuff from him. Diesel Dave's on his mediums. Finding Alec, really pushing up taking up the pace. Alec found him when he was in 3rd and seemed to manage to get past him. Wonder what happened there. Dave must be either slowing. It's Alec, because Alec has on the racing softs, has less fuel, lighter car, faster car. Alec goes wide. He has dirty tires now. This is devastating for him. Absolutely devastating for him. How is he going to manage? When you got someone like Dave on your rear, really hammering down, the last thing you need is to go wide on track. You lose times, your tires just going to burn faster, and you're just going to be slower. Grip strength has set the reel this race. which is unfortunate because that means when you have tires that get dirt on them, oh, they wear down so quick. Let's go ahead and back out and take a look at the weather, see if we have any weather coming in. We do not. It's just getting a little colder, that's all. Sun's going down in this race. Simi maintaining fantastic speed, maintaining 141s consistently. This is the pace that you need to be a champion. My heart breaks for Piggums. One mistake is all it took. Jose Roosted, go, 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 absolutely. Fantastic racing we have here today. Seems like Simi is on his way to acquiring another fast lap. He's maintaining his lead over the end. Back a couple laps ago, we checked on him. He had a 5-second lead. Now he's at a negative 4.5 second lead. Lost 0.05 of a second. Seems the traffic behind him isn't really disrupting Dave or Alec too much. They're feeding off each other, and they're just driving faster and faster. They are making time on Simi. They really, really are. Fantastic speed by Alec. Good job for him maintaining that kind of pace with those worn, dirty tires of his. Track is getting really cold right now. We wish that PD put in a function into the game where it could show you guys, the track temperatures and tire temperatures. Maybe that's something that we'll figure out later on. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, Ironside, thank you so much, brother man. Diesel Dave, really, really trying to put down the gas right now. Lap 13 was a 142.088. He's starting to lose time. He's starting to lose pace. He really, really needs to stay in those 141s, and he can do it. He can do it, but it's hard when you're battling through traffic. He's trying to catch up to Alec, and every time he gets to it, something happens where they just can't maintain that proximity towards each other. And he happens to lose 100th of a second here or there. He's on a slow lap right now. That dirty air, dirty tires right there from that corner. He's just having a little bit of difficulties maintaining. But you know what? Third place is not a bad place to be in. And a lot can happen by the end of the race. Massett, in his own world, 14 seconds off the lead of the race. 6 seconds between him and Piggums. Piggums overtook 5th from Snob. Fantastic drive for Piggums. That is expected even after a mistake from the Grid Titan Season 1 Endurance Series champion. Gets a little squirrely out the bend. Snob is trying to capitalize, but Piggums really kept it under control and continues to separate himself from the back. Great speed. Great speed here. Brakes at right before the 50. Trying to maintain his acceleration through her. Piggums goes a little wide, but he seems to really keep things tight together. Snob is making time. He's fighting against that Lamborghini or that Lexus's acceleration though, but he is making time. Piggums gets a little wide. Snob into the wall. Gets damage on the rear. Dirty tires, and that's going to be his fight with Piggums. You can't make up that time. This goes, Piggums is a very fast driver. Snob is a very quick driver as well. He just doesn't have quite the amount of experience that Piggums does. There is a big seat time gap when it comes to the hours that they put into the game. And Snob, as great as a driver as he is still an up-and-comer. He's still learning every day. So let's see what he can do with that little mistake that he made, a little bit of understeer with that NSX. How is he going to manage for the rest of the race? He can take that position back from Piggums, He knows Pickens is down a pit stop, and so he's going to be really, really stretching himself out thin in order to make up the lost time from his second place at the beginning of the race. Snob is a smart driver. He will know to try to capitalize on something like that. He's going to extend this stint as much as he can before forcing himself into the pits. Teetable, 7th place. Remember, pitted early, under a quarter tank. This is going to be his last lap. Lap 15. He's going to have to go into pits early. And with VPR Todd Hall 21 seconds behind him, there is a possibility that Teetable gets overtaken during this next pit stop. Rear of the pack, pretty dispersed right now. Black Mamba taking a bad spill earlier, maintaining 9th place for points. Fantastic stuff. 10th place 1 point, 9th place 2 points, 8th place 4. You get the gist of it. Every point matters. It's the leaderboard does stay tight. Shams has made up a lot of time, even though taking the very bad spill at the beginning of the race, has made up time. He's in 12th right now. He's trying to find 11th. He's trying to find the Italian, Gabriel. Can he do it in that beautiful Lamborghini of his? He very much so might be able to. It's all about getting one position at a time. Gabriel took a nasty crash. Damaged, a lot of damage. He's going to take another one. Oh, no! Gabriel having a very difficult race. It might be time for him to retire. Not sure. Not sure. There comes a point where you become more of a liability than a race car driver. Gabriel's really going to have to figure this out. He's already getting blue flagged, lap 16 in the race. We're going to really have to pay attention to how he handles being blue flagged. Simi is going to speed right through. Gabriel's car is incredibly damaged. Damage is not going to go away till he pits. He has, part of endurance racing is dealing with traffics, but remember, when you have a faster car behind you and you're being blue flagged, you hold your racing line as a slower driver through the corners, and you maintain that your speed in that racing line. This faster driver will figure out a way around you. The difference is Gabriel has really bad internet connection. Simi will lose time during this overtake because Gabriel is incredibly unpredictable. Simi finds the inside, gets a little squirrely around those two. Simi goes deep, gets on the gas. That's a good overtake. Lost time, now he's gaining it back. Alec is trying to capitalize on it. He smells blood in the water. He knows time was lost with Simi trying to overtake the last place lead. Teetable in the pits, opts from mediums to softs. What an interesting strategy from him. I guess he's trying to make up lost time. Gabriel, blue flagged. Alec, not going to quite be able to get past him on the stint. Alex is going to have to jump into the pits and get fuel and tires. Does a great job avoiding the line to avoid penalty. Diesel Dave is going to happily take that position away from him. 6 seconds behind Simi, with tires that are quite similar in wear. Dave does have the lighter car, though. Less fuel in the tank. That could serve him as an advantage. It really could. His big complaint before the race was that the Genesis seemed a little bit squirrely at post-update. You remember, PD did just update the physics, did just change things around for everybody, and it's made a lot of people question what cars they want to take into these races. It's like relearning things a little bit. When you're mastering something to such a minute detail. Here we go. We have a very tight overtake opportunity coming on here. Gabriel really needs to get out of Dave's way. Lost time. Dave Ops in the pits for mediums. Let's check in on Teetable with his strategy. Maintains good pace. You know, Black Mamba finds himself in 7th place after his unfortunate wreck in the earlier bits of the race. 7th place is a good position for him. Teetable gets on racing softs after his 3rd pit already by lap 18. 8th place is not a bad place for him to be either. Oh no, a little squirrely for Teetable. Couldn't really keep together. He's going to have to work with those dirty tires for the rest of the stint now. Congrats to Black Mamba, though, for making up those positions. He is not a bad driver. You know, just a very unfortunate one sometimes. You know, he just has a good way of sniffing out wrecks. If you notice, Black Mamba in a team car, just like Stop. Two good friends, two childhood friends. Now they're racing Gran Turismo together. Great stuff. Snob, empty tank, not a lot of fuel left. Gonna try to really find himself in this corner. Second to last corner. Just has one bend after this. He should find himself back in the pits, get the damage repaired, get on some fresh tires and get some fuel in the tank. Semi, 27-second lead on the race. Piggums, 2nd place yet again. Finds himself behind Rafa. Easy overtake, easy good blue flag moment. Well, Piggums, after having a terrible, accident happened in pits where, you know, he was forced to go out with lack of fuel, really brought himself back. Now he's just in the position to make up time, as much time as he possibly can. Him and Piggums and Simi on the same kind of pit schedule right now. It's just that Simi is a lap ahead of Piggums. You know, it's just, you can't really, you know, 27 seconds, quite a bit of it. Not a full lap, of course. A lap being a minute and 40 seconds. Just, you know, it's just quite a big gap between those two drivers. It's really, you know, it's really going to be interesting to see how Piggums is going to handle that and handle how he's going to reduce that time. Alec still in 3rd. At a very slow lap 17 is probably his pit. All right, Gabriel being blue flagged right now. That's Piggums behind him. He really needs to figure out what he's going to do. Warning has been issued to Gabriel, the Italian, just not getting out of people's way under blue flag under straightaway conditions. Again, you don't have to get out of anyone's way when you're being blue flagged in the corners. You just have to maintain your racing line, but you cannot be fighting those blue flag moments on straightaways. Simi finds himself in second place after a pit. Piggums finds himself in first place. It seems like there's going to be a battle of strategy between these two drivers. Piggums only has this lap in him. He's going to have to jump to the pits. Going to really see how he fares afterwards. He's going to lose position, but by how much? Prior to this moment, they were 20. Piggums was in second place with a 27-second gap between him and Simi. Simi is catching up. He really needs to get in the pits as quick as he can. Piggums finds himself in pits. Let's see how much time he loses. Here comes Simi. Wrapping that last corner, now on the main straight. Drive in front of him also goes in the pits. The Italian. Simi now in first place. Piggums finally gets to this pit crew, opting for a tire change and a fuel up. Lance finds himself on racing mediums. Really, really, really wants to maintain the best possible method for gaining time on Simi. And his decision is to get on racing mediums. It's a good decision, good smart. It's a smart move. It's going to make him time. It really is. Exiting the pits, he's a little close to Massett. Piggums, who was in 7th place after a poor pit decision, made it all the way back up to 2nd, and now, after his pit, finds himself in 5th. Has a lot of time to make up. Was 27 seconds behind first place when he was in second position, now is only 20 seconds behind. He can do it. He has the ability to, he has the skill, he has the seat time. Let's look up at Massett. Massett trying to fight his position for Piggums, but he knows Piggums is a very quick driver. Massett has been cool, calm, and collected, dropping consistent 141s throughout the race. Really cleaned up his slower times between laps 14 and 17. Really driving well. Doesn't have a lot of time left on those tires, though. Half-life, probably almost a half-life in those tires. He's wearing those fronts out, wearing those rears a lot quicker. It's because that BMW is a front-engined, rear-wheel drive car. When you brake, all that weight gets delivered to those front wheels first. When you when you do a lot of trail braking, you're really, really putting a lot of stress on those tires. You're really, really wearing down the tread a lot quicker. Massett just getting faster and faster. Simi find himself into another pit stop for some reason. Maybe he's trying to just fill the racing hard tire obligation. You know, maybe he wants to stay on mediums the whole race. Maybe he knows what Piggums is trying to do, trying to catch by staying on mediums. Let's see what Simi figures out. He's been the race lead the entire race so far. He swaps from racing hards to racing mediums. Simi says, I want those fast lap times. I really, really do. Massett finds himself in 3rd. And now we have the two drivers finally meet. I would have stayed out on racing hards if I was Simi. There's a lot of race left. A lot of race left. Battle of the Greats right here. Oh, getting a little squirrely. A little squirrely. Piggums really trying to maintain Simi's pace. The issue being the Lamborghini is an all-wheel drive monster. It can really take these corners at a higher speed than the RFC can and a lot more stable. The Lexus is no slouch of a car, has very good top speed in comparison to the Lamborghini. It's just, it's the battle between front engine rear-wheel drive car towards a mid-engine all-wheel drive car. It's what you're going to get. It's Piggums really making up space on that corner, braking late. It's a little squirrely at the end. Simi starting to pull away a little bit. Diesel Dave in 2nd place. Plenty of tire tread left on his racing hards. He's going to be fending off 3 very hungry drivers right behind him, but let's see, we have a blue flag out on track. Let's see who is getting close to who. Gabriel in last place. Teedable overtook him. That's good for Teed. Blue flag. It's Rafa. Rafa in the way of Diesel Dave. Let's see how this little bout goes. What Rafa should be doing is maintaining his racing line through corners, not yielding, and then yielding on the straights. Yielding doesn't mean let off the gas, just means giving room. The faster driver will find a way past. Black Mamba finds himself back in 9th after a fresh pit change. He was all the way in 11th place, worked his way up to 7th, and now is in 9th. He's in contention for points, though, and that's what matters. The thing about this endurance race, this season of endurance racing, is even if it's only 5 races, every point counts. Sprint Series, we've gone up from 5 races to 8 races. In the Endurance Series, we've gone from 3 races to 5. A lot of opportunity between qualifiers, fast lap, and just being in the top 10 to put points on the board. Top 5 at the end of the season. Top 5 puts you in status of becoming a pro if you can get top 5 in the other 2 events. Top 3 in status of becoming a grid leader, and if you get champion all 3 events, you become a grid titan. A lot of these drivers from last season have top 5 finishes, have top 3 finishes, and first place finishes. You know, this season could be the season where we see these drivers really start to step up and promote within Grid Titan Racing League. A lot of fantastic stuff happen. You don't promote in this league. You really don't. We have drivers here who are champions who are still considered amateur drivers in our league. It takes work. It takes time. And these drivers are willing to give it. Tidwell in 6th place, really maintaining good consistency with those worn racing softs. Last lap a little slow, 144 on the clock. Needs to be with worn tires at least a 142. Would be smart of him to go ahead and pit in. JDM Snob slowing down finally on racing mediums, half tank of gas in. Finds stuff behind Gabriel, the Italian. You can see the clouds are really coming in. There's mist on the track. The track's cooling down a lot. The track's becoming very, very slick. With corners like this track yields, it's going to be very easy to lose yourself. Great trail braking, little squirrely. See what I mean? Very easy to lose yourself. All it takes is one little mistake. JDM Staub maintaining great pace, though, under not ideal conditions. Massett holding down 5th place. Kind of a no man's land right now. 5 seconds away from Snob, 32 seconds away from Pickums. Pickums still fighting with Simi. Really trying to find time. Really tight racing from Pickums and Simi here. Very tight stuff. Pickums only 7th of a second off of the backside of Simi. Really trying to find pace. Pickums has a great opportunity to pressure Simi into a mistake, but can he do it out of the number 2 Ferrari driver in North America? Can he do it to a driver who almost made the World Tour and competed amongst the best of Gran Turismo drivers? Can he do it? Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. But maybe he can. Unless Simi shuts the door on him. Diesel Dave finds himself in second after a unfortunate bout behind Gabriel during a blue flag when he's trying to deal with traffic. Finds himself in second after a smart pit strategy. He's really trying to use up these racing softs, or sorry, racing hards. You know, placing 142s, a 143, a 141 on racing hards is incredibly impressive stuff from Dave. This is where his seat time is really showing you what it is. Don't let the 800 miles on that Genesis fool you. This is a man with thousands and thousands of hours in the chair. This is a man who understands racecraft strategy very, very well. One of the top drivers in Grid Titan Racing League. Off the strategy, finds himself in second place. Can he maintain it? For his sake, hopefully he can. Alec, who's been struggling with the Porsche throughout the night, maintaining good speed. His consistency is just there right now. Laps 19 through 23, he was a 142. And laps 24 through 27, a 141. He is getting faster on those racing mediums. He is enjoying the clean air in front of him. No contentions, no one to worry about. He's just in his own world, wraps around the last corner of the track, really pushing this one. Can he break the record? Almost. A 142, 2 seconds off of his fastest lap. Fastest lap this race so far is Pickens with a 139.7. That, if Simi got the fastest lap in qualification and got pole, that gives him an extra point. If Piggums maintains top 10 position and secures the fastest lap, that will give him an extra point. You know, you got 22 points for first place this season instead of 25. We've really shrunk down the window of how many points you can earn. We really, really want it to be a competitive season. First place, 22 points. Second place, 18 points. Third place, 15 points. Fourth, 12. Fifth, 10th. Sixth, 8. Seventh, 6. Eighth, 4th. Ninth place, 2 points. 10th place, 1. Fastest qualifying lap gets you a bonus point. Fastest lap in the race, if top 10, gets you a bonus point. There should be some very tight leaderboards. Alec, Diesel, Dave, even Massett do have the opportunity off the pit strategy to take first away from Simi and Piggums potentially. Those two drivers are in their own battle right now. Simi maintains up front, but tires, yeah, these drivers are just identical right now. Identical in fuel consumption, identical in tire wear, on the same tire tread. And it's a battle between all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. It's a battle between the United States and Canada. It's World War III here in Grid Titan Racing League. Good stuff. Solid stuff. JDM Snob finds himself coming out of the pits. Drops down to 8th. Now on Racing Softs. Bold strategy from him. Looks at his longtime friend, longtime racing teammate, Black Mamba, and says, I'm going to catch you. I know you're on racing mediums. I smell the blood in the water. He wants it. He wants to speed up. 3 Grid Titan Racing drivers, JDM Snob, Black Mamba, and Teetable through 8th, 7th, and 6th. All competing amongst each other. Teetable leading the pack in the bottom 10, bottom half of the 10th. Massett, new driver, doing really good this race so far. Giving a little flash to Piggum saying, or sorry, giving a little flash to Rafa saying, hey man, you're slow. I need you out of my way. I'm going to pass you. Blue flag's out. Let's see if Rafa knows what to do here. We do take our driving etiquette in this league very serious. It doesn't mean if you're the slow driver that you jeopardize your race, but it does mean that you do need to yield when needed. So far, Massa too far off the mark to make Rafa even consider yielding position to him. Rafa holding 11th place, really trying to find how he can get into the top 10. The hardest part about racing in any race, endurance or sprint, is really trying to not let traffic bother you. It's the hardest part about racing. Rafa gets on the inside, yields the fast line to Massa. Wonderful stuff from Rafa. Applause to him for fantastic sportsmanship. Massa will come on through and now go to work. 33 seconds between him and the leaders of this race is a lot of time to make up. If Rafa was on his level, they would be pump drafting all the way to the leaderboard, but I just don't think Rafa has that speed. Diesel Dave finds himself into the pits due to fuel. Really did good with that stint. He should get in the pits and probably stay on those racing cars. We'll see. Piggums, Simi will scream past him. And this will lose Dave a lot of time, but you know, you can't drive with no gas in the car. Just not possible. If we could drive race cars without any oil, all the climate change activists wouldn't have anything to complain about. So, you can't drive a race car with no fluids. Alec maintaining first place, 15-second lead. Really, really taking those racing medium tires as far as he can. Quarter tank of gas left, and his car is just getting faster and faster. You know, he is slowing down. He's getting faster in the straights. The car is getting quicker. The driver with the tire wear is just starting to slow down just a little bit. I'd say probably 2-3 more laps on these tires. He probably make a decision to pit. Get some fuel in him. Really, really work it. Let's check the weather. 60-minute race. We got a lot of racing left. No weather inbound. Fantastic stuff. Spectate. 53 minutes of racing. 7 minutes left in this race. Every decision counts. Can Alec make these tires stretch? Can Simi maintain the lead? Can he catch that first place back? He has more gas than Alec. He has more tire than Alec. Can he continue to stretch out? Piggums, can he reclaim the position from Simi? He's been trying to catch that position all race. He was in second all race. Could never find first. Now finds himself in third with Simi in second. Right in front of him. Can he get past one of the greats? Diesel Dave comes out in fourth place. 22 seconds to make up. He's looking very, very good if he can maintain this pace. A top 4 finish is a lot of points on the board. Remember, we're talking about 12 points at least from being in fourth place. Let's go back to mid-pack. Black Mamba trying to make a move on Teetable. Teetable trying to fend from Black Mamba. Very tight racing. The Grid Tide Racing League boys really want these points. Snob coming up the rear. Oh, they go wide, they go wide. Black Mamba goes a little wide into Teetable, yields a position back to Teed. Now it's a 3-man race. Fantastic etiquette from Black Mamba after going a little wide. Oh, a little squirrely there. Snob says, I wasn't part of that whole mistake. I'm going to make every little bit of use of this I can. Black Mamba spills out back a little bit, got a little too excited, but you know what? He can make up that time. Teetable is going to be slowed down by Snob. Black Mamba dive bombs again, getting a little squirrely a little bit. He can't keep doing that. It's going to be dangerous. Just like that. They lose time off of Snob. Unfortunate stuff, but you know what? 4 minutes left of racing. A lot can still happen. A lot can still happen. Dorito finds himself off track a little bit. In 11th place. Carlo in 12th place. Having a very difficult race the 911 today. Shams, fantastic stuff from him. Finds himself in 10th. From 12th to 10th. He had a bad wreck at the beginning of the day. PPR Todd just trying to maintain pace. 9th place. You know, he could finish the rest of the race out on those tires. Hopefully he could finish the rest of the race out by staying on the track, though. That would do him better. Teetable finds himself in 8th place. Overtaken by Mamba. Something must have happened. Getting a little squirrely from those tires. Menzo. Been doing fantastic stuff all race. Just been a real lad holding down the mid-pack. Diesel Dave, 34 seconds off of third. Is having himself a fantastic showing today. Only issue Dave has ran into is a little bit of traffic today. Has maintained great pace. has done very, very well. Doing great stuff. Pigham's, great race today. Trying to find second place. Hopefully he can get close enough before the race end to do it. Alec, trying to run home with it. He might lose it. He doesn't have a lot of fuel left. This is a very big deal for him. Very, very big deal for him. Racing medium tires are 3/4 of the way worn. They can last the rest of the race. There's only 2.5 minutes left in the race, but can his fuel tank last? Is he going to start trimming? What's he going to do? I wish we could tell. I wish we could see, but we can't. Maybe we can look at a cockpit. What's his trim at? 50. Some of the stats do represent accurately on the wheel, but he's running a fuel map of 0. He has not trimmed any. What a mad lad. Simi getting a little squirrely in that Lamborghini. Really holding it well, though. He is what a fantastic showing from Simi. Really good stuff. Plenty of tires left. Plenty of fuel left. 2 seconds in front of Pigham's. He might have second place to bag. It's just a matter of fact if Pigham's and Simi will be able to catch Alec if he decides to pit. That's the deciding factor, is if he decides to pick. And we're about to find out, because that's the second to last corner. Alex screaming 80, 90, 100 miles an hour, 110 miles an hour. Going to wrap the last corner. Let's see if he can make it. Yellow flag on track. What has happened? Black Mamba has spun out. Pigham's opts to, Alec opts to stay out on track. Black Mamba gets himself figured out, and now he's in the pits. Horrendous. Horrendous. Not great for him. Fantastic for Todd. Todd finds himself under blue flag conditions, but needs to hold himself out. He just needs to survive 40 seconds. That's it. Oh, don't take on fuel. Go, 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 Black Mamba. You can't afford to waste any more time. Black Mamba doesn't lose a position. What a lucky guy. Teeble, 7th place. American Pump, 6th place. Menzo, 5th. Oh! Black Mamba spins out again. Oh, no. Oh, just can't keep it together. Just can't keep it together. 9th place. Stay in the top 10, my brother. Alec, 1st place. Really making this fuel last. He's about to run out of gas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corners left. Can the car make it? Will his strategy pay off? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Seems to be slowing down a little bit. Let's see. Let's see. Is he going to run out of gas? I don't think it matters. 5 seconds ahead of Simi. Ladies and gentlemen, 35 laps later, an hour of racing. Alec Cross is your Grid Titan Endurance Series Season 2 Race 1 winner. 22 points on the board for that gentleman. Simi takes 2nd place, followed by Pigham's in 3rd. Diesel on his final lap. Rapid at 143 miles an hour. Really starts to send it. 160 mile an hour finish across the line. What a fantastic race. Terrible stuff for Black Mamba. 2 crashes in the last lap of the race. Just can't quite get it figured out. But you know what? He still puts points on the board. That's all that matters. Fantastic showing from Shams. He salvages. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Black Mamba must have missed a pit stop because now he finds himself in 11th place. What an ideal, wow. Absolutely wow. Fantastic results. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely legendary. Let's go ahead and say congrats to Alec. And everyone who... What a fantastic showing from these gentlemen. Let's make sure we save the replay. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a fantastic race. Check the Discord for updates and standings. Check the Discord for post-race news and photos and all the good stuff over the next day and a half, 2 days. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys had a fantastic time. I am Christian Collum. Thank you for watching Grid Titan Racing League. Let's find some tunes for you. Have a good one.
Once I was 7 years old, my mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old. It was a big, big world, but we thought we were bigger, pushing each other to the limits. We were learning quicker. By 11, smoking herb and drinking burning liquor. Never rich, so we were out to make that steady figure. Once I was 11 years old, my daddy told me, go get yourself a wife or you'll be lonely. Once I was 11 years old. Always had that dream like my daddy before me. So I started writing songs, I started writing stories. Something about that glory just always seemed to bore me. Cause only those I really love will ever really know me. Once I was 20 years old, my story got told before the morning sun when life was lonely. Once I was 20 years old. Only see my goals, I don't believe in failure. Cause I know the smallest voices, they can make it major. I got my boys with me, at least those